Hi everyone, hope you're doing okay. You're ready for the first instalment of Bad Dad. Here we are, a lovely cover. I thought this looked good. I got it in Tesco's yesterday. So it's Bad Dad, it's by David Walliams and it's illustrated by Tony Ross. And there's some really lovely illustrations in here. I'll get started. Bad Dad. Here we go. Dads come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. There are fat ones, thin ones, tall ones, short ones. There are young ones, old ones, clever ones and stupid ones. There are silly ones and serious ones, loud ones and quiet ones. Of course there are good dads and bad dads. See, a variety of dads. This is a story of a dad and his son, Frank. Dad is the dad, his name is Gilbert. Frank, Dad Gilbert. This is Rita, Frank's mum. Aunt Flip, Dad's aunt, she babysits Frank sometimes. So we've got Rita and Flip. Some more characters. Mr. Big is surprisingly small crime boss. Whatever time of day it is, he wears silk pyjamas and a dressing gown with velvet slippers monogrammed Mr. B. Let me see him. Doesn't look very nice, does he? Mr. Big has two henchmen, Fingers and Thumbs. Fingers is so called for his long, thin fingers, perfect for picking pockets. There's Fingers. Thumbs has enormous thumbs that he uses to inflict terrible pain on Mr. Big's enemies. Thumbs. Will and Bear are Thumb's fearsome nephews. Will and Bear. That's Mr. Chang, Mr. Big's sinister butler. And this is Reverend Judith. She's the vicar. Sergeant Scoff is the local policeman. Mr. Swivel is a one-eyed prison guard. Judge Pillar is well known for having a heart of stone. Judge Pillar. And this is Raj, the shopkeeper, newsagent. And here is a map of the town. Let's get started. Chapter 1. Roar. Roar went Dad's car as it sped round the dirt track. Frank's father was a banger racer. It was a dangerous sport. Cars would smash into each other. Bang, wallop, crunch as they zoomed round and round. Dad raced an old Mini that he had souped up himself. He had painted a Union Jack on the car and named her Queenie, after a lady he admired, Her Majesty the Queen. The car became as famous in racing circles as Dad. Queenie's engine made an unmistakable sound like a lion's roar. Dad was king of the track. He was the greatest banger racer the town had ever seen. People came from all over the country to watch him race. Nobody won more times than him. Week after week, month after month, year after year, Dad would lift trophies above his head as the crowds cheered and shouted his name. Gilbert the Great, Gilbert the Great, Gilbert the Great, Gilbert the Great. There he is, lifting the trophy above his head. And the crowds were cheering. Life was golden. Because Dad was a local hero, everyone wanted to know him. Whenever he took his son out for pie and mash, the owner of the shop would give them double helpings and then wouldn't let them pay a penny. If Frank was walking down the street with his father, people in cars would beep their horns, beep beep, and smile and wave. The boy always felt a burst of pride whenever that happened. Frank even got marked up on a test by his maths teacher after the man got a photo taken with his father at parents' evening. No one was a bigger fan of Dad than his own son. The boy worshipped his father. He was a hero to him. Frank longed to be just like his dad one day, a champion race car driver. His dream to was one day drive Queenie. As you might expect, father and son looked alike. Both were short and round, with sticky out ears. The boy looked like someone had put his dad into a shrinking machine. Of all the children at school, Frank knew he was never going to be the tallest, or the handsomest, strongest, or the cleverest, or the funniest. But he had seen the magic and wonder his father could create with his skill and courage on the racetrack. More than anything, he wanted to taste that. As for Dad, he forbade his son from watching him race. A night would start with 20 cars speeding round the track, and by the end there would be just one car still standing. Drivers often got badly injured in the pile-ups, and sometimes spectators did too if the cars crashed into the stands. "It's dangerous, mate," said Dad. Gilbert always called his son mate. They were father and son, but best friends too. "But Dad," the boy would plead as his father tucked him up in bed. "No buts, mate. I don't want to see you get me. I don't want you to see me get hurt." "But you're the best. You'll never get hurt." "I said no buts. Now come on, be a good boy. Give us a huggle and go to sleep." Dad would always plant a kiss on his son's forehead before he went to sleep. As for Frank, he would close his eyes and pretend to be asleep. However, as soon as he heard the door close, he would creep out of bed and crawl down the hallway to the front door so as not to alert his mum. The woman would always shut herself in the bedroom and speak in hushed tones on the telephone whenever her husband was out of the house. Still dressed in his pyjamas, the boy would run all the way to the racetrack. Just outside the stadium was a huge tower of rusty old cars that had been smashed up in previous races. Frank would climb to the top of the pile. There he had the best view of the racetrack. The boy would sit cross-legged on the roof of the highest car and watch all the bangers speed by. Every time his father's Minnie, Queenie, zoomed past, roaring as she went by, the boy would cheer. "Go, Dad, go!" You see, in the dark, he's on top of all the old rusty cars. Dad had no idea his son was up there. The man barred him from watching him race because he feared the worst might happen. One night it did. And you see the cars in the dark night. That's the end of chapter 1. Join me again next time. See you later. Take care.